Oh, my lord, you wouldn't believe it.
Oh, yes, I would. I would suck his dick. So what are you ladies discussing?
Books?
Welcome to the Nerd Blitz Book Club. Pull up a seat and pull down your pants. Listen to us read and go on rants. Hey gang, thanks for joining us this week for the Nerd Blitz Book Club. I'm Doom.
And I'm Fitz.
And we're back once again with Star Wars Dark Disciple by Christie Golden, chapters 32 and 33.
Yes, getting close to the end now.
I was gonna say, holy moly, we've only got like 3 or 4 episodes left.
Mm-hmm. And it really feels like we're entering the home stretch.
It's the final countdown.
Mm-hmm. This feels like the last half hour of the movie is starting.
Yeah, no shit. I said before, like, what did I say before?
Lots of shit.
Like yeah, no shit. The last 100 pages are when it starts to really kick in for me.
Mm-hmm.
This kicked in a lot faster, didn't it?
Yeah. So last time we left off, Voss and Desh and Anakin and Obi-Wan had been dispatched after Voss had been rehabilitated and was back to his fighting self. The 4 of them were sent to investigate this separatist supply base that they had intel on. And they had just arrived there and encountered droid fighters, little dog fighting with them. And sure enough, the intel was correct, and they found a giant storehouse of medical supplies and equipment and weapons and blah, blah, blah.
And they had just gotten out of their ships and were ready to explore it, and that's where we cut off.
Yeah, so they're basically just all astonished at how much shit is packed into this hollowed-out asteroid. And, they start the process of using the clones to move all the shit that they found, which is kind of fucked up. Like, hey, clones, come and fucking lug this shit around.
Yeah. And while the clones are doing that, they sort of decide to split up and look for clues, because Voss heads off on his own.
Yeah, well, it was Voss's idea.
I know.
They didn't so much split up as he's like, hey, you guys handle that, I'm going to go look around.
Yeah, which, that right there,
Yeah, really? You thought that was a setup?
It wasn't exactly when he said that, but it was after they'd started loading shit, he was gone, and then he started reporting back in. That's when I was like, Which...
Yeah, I didn't even think anything of it, really. I mean, I didn't think anything...
That's my first note of this chapter, because as Voss goes to explore, because I think they're trying to figure out just how big this place is, isn't that it?
Yeah, they can see only so far before it's like darkness, and there's tunnels off of tunnels, and stuff's all packed in all over the place, and so he's just going to go wander around and see just how far this thing extends into the asteroid. So Obi-Wan and the rest of them, they hang back and wait for the clones to show up and start giving out orders to them to, they're going to need to bring in some bigger ships for some of this stuff. And even Obi-Wan uses the Force to lift up this big, huge gun and put it in a transport.
That's what I was going to say. I thought that was kind of interesting because, what was it, episode 2, where Anakin was playing around with the Force? And he was like, ooh, Obi-Wan would be so pissed because he's not being too serious. But they're fine using the clones to, haul around the other ship. But this, he's just like, Don't worry, guys. I got this. It felt a little show-offy to me.
Yeah, it did kind of, but at the same time, how else are they going to move it?
True.
That's the easiest way to move it, is for him to just pick it up and move it.
I totally agree, but it just felt a little...
Yeah, it's not the same as using the Force to cut a fucking piece of fruit and, like, float it across the table to your side piece.
I fully give you that, but the way it was written, it just felt a little...
Yeah.
It just felt a little like...
As you're
Watch
mocking...
this, guys.
As you are blatantly mocking the rules of your faith.
Yeah.
And laughing about it, trying to get in this girl's pants.
And you accuse me of fucking making Star Wars dirty.
That's not so much dirty. That was more like ribbled. That wasn't even dirty.
Okay. We'll go with that. But still, it just seemed, the way it was written, it just seemed a little bit like, hang on, guys. I got this.
Yeah, well,
Watch this.
Yeah, it happened real fast. Like, there was no setup to it. It was like, oh, you need that moved? Here you go.
Yeah, so that felt a little hinky to me, but after he does that, when the clones are loading up the ships and shit...
Yeah, speaking of hinky...
All of a sudden... yeah, all of a sudden, over the comlink, Voss breaks in, tells him to get all the transports and get all the men and get everybody out here right now. And Kenobi asks him, what's going on? And Voss, on his own, says, bombs! They've been rigged to blow this whole place. And when I read that, I was like, huh, his first big boy mission, and ooh, all of a sudden he goes off on his own and finds bombs? That's a little fishy.
Yeah, but later on I think, they do successfully plant the seeds of reasonable doubt in explaining away why these things keep happening.
That's next episode. Shh.
I know, I'm just saying. He's basically found the place is booby-trapped, and I think it was Obi-Wan that said, well, the droid fighters must have done that before they launched, in case they didn't make it back.
Yeah.
That they would just blow the whole place. So then we get like a little, the classic save yourself kind of evacuation scene where he tells everybody else to get out, but he's going to stay there with the bombs because he's not going to make it.
Yeah.
But Obi-Wan kind of hangs back and waits for him to show up, and they both make it out just in time before all the contents of that asteroid get fucking incinerated.
Yeah, I think that's what my note's about. I read this like 3 days ago, so forgive me. But that was a nice little piece of business there, I thought.
What, that they used just enough explosives to destroy the contents of the asteroid without blowing it up like the Death Star.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty smart.
And I liked seeing the clones again and all that. It was a good sequence, although it was a little bit hokey with the save yourself, man, I'm not gonna make it.
Yeah. Again, this is probably something that would have worked better on screen than in a book.
Oh, no doubt.
It would have been a lot more dramatic to see it than to read it.
Yeah.
There is something interesting that I've kind of realized reading this book is, and I mean, I've realized it before, like just having read printed out scripts, that, man, there's so much added between the page and the screen.
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Even with your own imagination, to see it come to life on screen adds so much to it.
The thing about like with prose and with scripts and shit, as you're reading when there's a lot of description and shit, I don't know about you, but to me, it just seems like everybody's standing around waiting for you to get back to the dialogue or something.
Yeah, kind of does.
Because they're like,
yeah,
hurry up, you gotta go. And then Obi-Wan's just kind of standing there tapping his foot, waiting for the description to be like, oh yeah, and then he jumped over a pile of shit and got in his ship. Yeah. And they both took off and got away to safety.
Well, and there's something to be said about the shiny object phenomenon, which is like, the small flaws in the writing or the plot holes or the questions like, well, why do you do that? Or, that doesn't make any sense. On the page, it's hard to not see that. But then if you're watching a movie or you're watching a TV show, there's so much going on and there's so much eye candy that sometimes shit like that will go by and you won't even really question it, at least not right away.
Yeah, it takes a few viewings.
Yeah.
Because you just get so caught up in the moment.
Or you just let it go and it's like, well, but look at all this shiny stuff over here.
Big a deal.
Yeah.
Oh, did you see that poster in the background? Shit like that. Yeah. They all get out and
poor Dash. They tell him to stay here and pick through the rubble.
Yeah.
And then Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Voss, they're like, yep, well, let's head back to the council.
Yeah, they're like, see you, buddy, and they fuck off home.
Shortest mission ever.
Yeah. And that takes us back to Ventress, and she's in that bar where her and Voss met, which I don't have any notes about this, really.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool. That it's the bar on Pantora where they first met way back in the beginning of the book when they were hunting for that fugitive. And
yeah, when they're recording.
Yeah, kind of. When they're doing their mating dance.
Yeah.
And so she's there, like, tying one on. I guess that's...
Yeah, and she was hoping by going there, it would help her let go of him a little, but it kind of had the opposite effect.
Mm-hmm.
Because as we talked about, I think last time, all of a sudden she's like a hardcore drunk.
Right.
Because she's trying to deal with him falling to the dark side, but no, he's not really bad. He was just making pretend, and now he's back, and he still loves her. And
yeah. I mean, her life has kind of gone down the shitter, like, pretty suddenly.
Yeah.
So I can understand why she's a hardcore drunk.
Are you feeling sympathy for her again?
Yes.
Oh, God. So
I could catch her on the rebound. I could be like fucking Larry down at the Regal Beagle and...
Wow, dude. You might want to dust off that reference before you throw that out again.
Nah, everybody knows the Regal Beagle.
Okay.
And if you don't, Google that bitch.
So, anyhoozle, she's in there getting fucked up, and who shows up but...
Voss. Which, this is where I started to be like, well, this doesn't feel right. This doesn't seem...
I was just going to say...
This seems a little too convenient.
To me, it just seems weird because Voss, Obi-Wan, and Anakin all went back to Coruscant.
Yeah.
But somewhere along the way, Voss was like, hang on, guys, I gotta go.
Yeah, I gotta make a pit stop here.
This dude that they've barely fucking begun to trust again is like, I gotta, the thing with the... You know, I'll just meet you there.
I gotta see a man about a horse.
Yeah, that. So he walks into the bar and he's all pitiful and shit again, or still, or I don't really know.
Yeah, he's pretty emo. Yeah, I know. I see what you're saying, though. It did feel weird, like, oh, and they all headed back to Coruscant, and then it's not even a new chapter; it's just a chapter break, and then then he shows up in this bar with her. So it's like, how much time jump between that? Because I'm sure he didn't just like you said, like, oh, go on without me, guys. I'm just gonna stop off here for a second. They had to have all gone back and done some shit, and then he's slipped off.
But see, the next chapter feels like when they got back to Coruscant. The beginning of the next chapter, at least to me. So, I mean, what else are we supposed to expect? Because they all go back to Coruscant, he goes to a bar, and then back on Coruscant, Yoda is like, great job you have done, yes.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It does, doesn't it?
Yeah. So it's just like, wait a minute. When does this happen?
Yeah, I wonder if this is like not a time jump, but a time fuck. Like, time mind fuck.
Maybe this was supposed to happen after the beginning of the next chapter?
No, I was thinking, I wonder if this... Would it be fucked up if they... Because, well, I mean, I'm not going to get into it because I don't want to spoil, like, the next couple chapters, but I had a theory, and we don't even have to talk about it now because it might spoil the end of the book, but...
Yeah.
I had a theory
Careful.
about something that's about to happen, but the one thing that I couldn't reconcile was the timing of it. But if this chapter break was supposed to happen, if later on we find out that this actually happened before a different part of the book, and they're telling it out of sequence on purpose to mislead you, that would make sense. But I don't think they would do that.
That seems really fucking weird.
Yeah, I don't think they would actually do that, but that's the only way I could think of that my theory would probably work.
Yeah. Well, like I said, maybe it's just supposed to happen just after the beginning of the next chapter, which once we get to that, we should be able to figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
But it really seems strange to... We're going to Coruscant, he goes to Pantora or the Pantoran bar, and then... And
I guess technically it could be that, I don't know. I was going to say maybe they just didn't debrief them right away. Maybe their appointment wasn't for a day or two after they got back.
I don't know. Anywho, some shit happens in this bar.
Oh, yeah. They express their true feelings, and he melts her heart finally, and...
Basically, he rededicates himself to Ventress.
Right.
Which, I don't remember if it's in chapter 33 or if it's after that. If it is, just tell me and I'll talk about it then. But the thing where Yoda says he looks into his heart, is that in the next episode or is that this episode?
I think it might be in 34.
Okay. Well, still, as wise as Yoda is and shit, you would think that, like, he would feel, or not just wise, but, like, as strong as he is in the Force, he would feel like Voss's rededication to Ventress. Because he basically tells her, doesn't he basically tell her that, you know, I'm just gonna help take care of Dooku, then I'm done with him, I swears.
Right.
Which, I would think Yoda could feel that, you know?
Yeah, I would think.
Or sense it, or whatever.
Maybe. I don't know, because I think a lot of things during this time period, they're not sensing and feeling things they normally would, because the dark side's clouding everything. And that's why I'm wondering if what Yoda's going to claim later on in the next couple chapters, I wonder if he's just flat out wrong.
We'll find out, I guess.
Yeah. He does admit during this that he did go to the dark side. Like when she saw him, he really was. He wasn't play acting like he said he was.
Yeah.
But that it only lasted, until he forgave her for lying to him.
Yeah.
And then he turned his back on it.
Yeah. Yeah, right here. He says, when she came back, it was just after he had held Thulm's lightsaber and experienced, her murdering him. He said he was reeling, he'd been starved, beaten, deprived of sleep, injected with things.
Like hot beef.
Oh, God! Oh, shit! I wasn't expecting that. Neither was he.
Neither was he. Heyo.
Oh, God. No. I was assuming he meant drugs, but...
Well, yeah. That happens before.
Oh, shit. Oh, dope-a-dope-a-do. Okay. Ooh, let's get back on track.
Yeah, but anyway, he admits to it and then says but he still maintains that the dark side has no hold on him now, and they talk some more, and basically what seals it is, she's like, so you're saying you're willing to leave the Jedi for me? And he reaffirms that, he was serious when he said that before, and he's got a couple more things that he wants to do to help them take Dooku down, and then after that he's
because
leaving.
He thinks he owes him that much.
Yeah.
But once that's done, I'm yours and you'll have me. Which that sounds a little fucking rapey, doesn't it?
No, he says, if you'll have me.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Oh, son of a bitch. I thought that said and.
Uh-huh.
Oh, boy. Leave me alone, man. On to the next chapter.
Yeah, so the next chapter starts back on Coruscant in the Jedi Temple, and there's kind of a gathering in the council chamber. Basically, they're giving Voss his wings again.
Yeah.
Right? They're basically saying thanks for the
You
stuff
done
and
good.
for saving Kenobi and Anakin and Desh and the clones by finding those bombs and stuff. And they're kind of saying that once again you're ready to fight against the Separatists. So they think he's fully vetted again. They're assigning them a new mission.
Yeah, they send him to Vancor?
Yeah, they send him out to Vancor.
Because Dooku has a listening base.
Yeah, they have a listening
according
station
to their
there.
intel. Yeah, according to their intel. Which this here, I think they even sort of mentioned the episode, but this sort of feels like the reverse of that one episode early in season 1 or 2 where the Separatists take over that.
Oh yeah, the rookies. No.
Yeah.
Is it rookies? Yeah.
No, I don't remember, but there's an episode early in season 1 or 2 where the Separatists take over a Republic listening base, blow it up, don't they?
Yeah, they they send in like commando droids. They're like look like fucking foot soldiers. They almost look like foot soldier droids from I mean the Foot, like from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They look like they look like ninjas to me.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. They're basically ninja droids and shit because they move real fucking. They're super humanoid and they're very fluid and not herky jerky and overly mechanical not as
like a battle
as
droid.
Like the battle droids
right.
or the super battle droids. Yeah.
Yeah, so they send them in. So they send them in, and the whole episode is a creepy kind of thriller of the clones in that base, kind of playing cat and mouse with these droids that are inside, trying to take over this listening station.
You said thriller, right?
Yeah.
I thought you said gorilla.
No, there were no gorillas in that episode.
No, not gorillas. Gorilla.
Gorilla?
It's like, what? Yeah, gorilla. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, it was guerrilla warfare. And it's like, what? Although, in a way, it sort of was because the clones were cut off and shit, and they were trying to save the base or at least blow it up so they couldn't get it. So it kind of was like guerrilla warfare.
Kind of like guerrilla warfare, yeah. But I like that episode. That was pretty good. It's kind of dark and shadowy and creepy. I think basically, it came out around.
All the clone episodes are good, though.
Yeah, I think it came out like the week of Halloween that year. So it was almost like a Halloween episode. Yeah.
Huh. Oh, shit. Yeah, I didn't know that. That's pretty cool.
And it was really the first like showcase for the clones.
Yeah.
Because I think it was only like episode 6 of the whole series.
So it was season 1 then, I guess.
Yeah, it was definitely season 1.
Huh.
And it was like the first showcase for D. Bradley Baker.
Yeah.
Because it's basically he's the whole episode.
Yeah, it's him talking to himself
in different voices and different personalities.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I saw those clones. I was like, holy shit, these are like individual people.
Yeah. I really got that feeling from like Republic Commandos and shit too.
Yeah.
From those novels. I mean, they go like really deep into it there. But yeah, let's get back to the book. But that is a good episode. Everybody should check that out. They're still talking about the mission, aren't they?
Yeah. They asked Voss if Dooku had ever told him anything about a listening station like this on Vancor. Voss doesn't really remember. He seems to think that there was one somewhere. He wasn't sure that it was on Vancor, though. He thought it was somewhere else.
Yeah, doesn't he say, like, I think it was, like, in that region, so yeah, this is probably it, or something?
Yeah, in that sector, yeah.
Yeah. And there's a lot of good banter here between Obi-Wan and Anakin and Voss.
Yeah, that was pretty good. So they send Voss and Kenobi to take out this listening post, and Anakin insinuates himself into the mission as usual. Yeah. And they have to pick a fourth, and so they pick Desh to go with them, right?
I think.
Oh no, Desh is still on the strike.
Yeah, he's
strike
still
that.
Sorting through shit, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I guess it's just the 3 of them.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah, my bad. I'll strike that out.
Strike that from the record, sir. It's these 3 fucking yahoos on a mission.
And they said plan accordingly because you could be in for a fight when you get there, depending on how important this site is.
Yeah, because they don't know if it's like leaked intel to trap them in shit or
right.
What the hell's going on?
Right, and so they planned fucking heavy, dude. They're rolling deep.
Yeah, no shit.
Because I mean, the next page they're dropping out of hyperspace and exiting their fucking cruiser with 24 ARC 170s.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that seems like a lot.
What are those?
I think those are the they're not the gunships. They're the I think they're the X-wingy type things. They're in episode 3.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay.
You know, where it's
that's like the one place my Star Wars knowledge falls apart. I don't really know jack shit about the vehicles.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, I do, but I don't know. I'm not as familiar with like the prequel vehicles, especially like the later ones, like where they start using numbers and shit.
Yeah.
Like I'm used to X-wing, B-wing, A-wing.
Yeah, like the X-wings and the Y-wings, I can tell them apart. Once you get into all the other letters and shit, it's like, oh, fuck this. So yeah, they're rolling into this place expecting trouble.
Mm-hmm.
And don't they do a couple flybys just to...
Yeah, they do a couple flybys and a couple strafing runs too. They fly by it and they Or no, that was the...
They do like a life scan of it or something, and it looks like it's abandoned.
Yeah.
But Kenobi suggests they should be cautious, and they try a strafing run to see if we can flush out any hiding jackrabbits. Which again, they bring in jackrabbits.
Oh yeah.
They say it like 2 or 3 times on this page, and it's like, I talked about it before, but that does not bring me out of it one bit. I know exactly what they're talking about, but it's different enough that it's not fucking space bunnies.
Right. Oh yeah. So yeah, they do a strafing run. So they take out the radar dish or the communications dish that's on top of the listening station, just to see if anybody comes out to start some shit, because it looks completely abandoned from where they're at.
Yeah.
So they do that and they get nothing. They get no reaction from anything. No ships, no people, no droids, no nothing.
Yeah. So
and they're scanning it and they don't see any life forms. So they're like, all right, fuck it. I guess we'll go down there and see what's in there.
Yeah. So they all get down on the ground there, and they're kicking through the rubble, trying to find some barracks or something so they can find something that Voss can get his grubby little Peter pullers on and see if he can find any indication of what the hell's going on.
Yeah.
Don't Anakin and Kenobi find it, and then they have to call Voss in to...
touch it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, they find, like, every room they go into is just empty. And then...
Yeah. Or no,
he found
I guess they all...
Yeah, he finds a comb. Eventually he finds a comb, which I thought was weird.
Yeah.
Like, that's a weird item for a Star Wars book. A comb. A hair comb.
One, it's a weird item to be like, yeah, he found a hair comb. But 2, it's weird for something that personal to be left behind.
Yeah. Well, I mean...
Which...
Have you ever gone into a house after it's been cleaned out?
Yeah.
There's always, like, weird shit that just falls out of places.
Yeah. I get that, but what I'm saying is, again, it's starting to feel like, what's going on here with Voss?
Yeah.
Because this place seems like it's basically stripped clean. They took everything just so the Republic wouldn't have any indication of what's going on.
Right.
But Voss is like, look what I found! And it turns out the Separatists fucked off about 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, they abandoned the place a couple weeks ago because Dooku was afraid that he would let slip the location of this place after he escaped, after he was rescued.
Yeah.
So basically they're thinking that all this stuff's happening because Dooku's like burning all of his trails now that, anything that Voss could have possibly given to the Jedi, now he's got to undo all that. He's got to make all that shit disappear.
Yeah. And he even says right here, which again, this felt so weird to me. He says, well, it means that pretty much any information I learned while I was with Dooku is now moot. And Anakin's like, hey, buddy, but we've got you back. That's what matters most. Which that felt a little after school especially, but...
Yeah, it didn't seem like Anakin really either.
Yeah.
Doesn't necessarily seem like something he would say.
I could see maybe Obi-Wan saying it since he was close with him, but...
Right.
When Anakin says it, it's like, and knowing's half the battle!
Yeah, it seemed almost sarcastic.
A little bit.
Like I would read it more like sarcastic. Like, oh, well, we got you back. That's better.
Yeah. As we're coming to the end of this chapter, Obi-Wan basically says, I think there's a leak.
Now they come up with the theory that there could be a mole or something inside the Jedi.
A space mole.
Yeah, a space mole that's leaking information to the Separatists. Either a Jedi or somebody else that's got pretty high-level information.
Access, yeah. Despite telling Ventress differently and Ventress starting to let him in again, like I said, him finding the comb, him being the one that finds the bombs, it really feels like, he's the one that's...
Yeah, like he's a double agent again.
Yeah. And it's like, god damn.
And as we'll see...
It seems too obvious, I admit.
We'll see in the next 2 chapters we do next time that, I mean, obviously suspicion falls on him immediately and heavily.
Yeah.
But to me, like you just said, and I told you that earlier too, is like, I don't know, it just seems too obvious, too easy. I'm expecting a swerve.
Yeah.
Like this is all, he's being set up. Like somebody's playing this game to frame him almost.
Yeah. I mean, it could be, but it just seems far too convenient for him to be the only one who can fucking figure shit out. or he's the only one who can find this, or he's the only one that does find shit. I don't know, it just seems a little too...
Yeah, that's what I meant, though, when there's enough reasonable doubt to me that, like, I can't decide one way or the other.
Yeah.
Like, on the one hand, it's way too obvious, but then on the other hand, it's like, well, obviously it's him, you know?
Yeah. It is a real fucking complicated issue.
On the other hand, it's like, who else would it be?
Yeah, because nobody else has the knowledge, the recent knowledge of both
Which is
sides
where
that
my
he
theory
does.
comes in. Should I say what my theory is?
If it's not a spoiler, go ahead.
Or you want to save
You
it?
can always cut it.
Or we can save it for the next...
Maybe save it for the next episode.
Yeah, it fits more with the things that are happening.
Yeah, because we don't want to spoil anything.
Yeah.
So, overall, how do you feel about these two chapters?
They were okay. They were kind of a lot going on, but not a lot going on.
Yeah.
I don't know. I both like and dislike the whole idea of there being a leak.
Yeah.
Because now it's kind of like one of those tropes. Like, it seems, I don't know, feels unnecessary to have rescued Voss and then gone to all this trouble to rehab him and bring him back and show that hasn't fallen to the dark side supposedly, and all that just to blow it up over something as obvious or as silly as this. Like, I can't believe that he would, if he was evil, that he would get caught on something so dumb.
Yeah.
Or so easily.
And
it feels like they've done this before, this whole leak thing.
yeah.
I mean, I'm sure they have done it before.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like we talked about before with, like, them using the Seven Samurai trope.
Yeah.
You've seen all this shit before.
I think they have done it. Like, there's shades of Barriss Offee, there's shades of, several different Clone Wars plot lines that have
Well,
happened.
like that one episode with that Rhodian dude, that
right.
Rhodian broad.
Right.
With that Lovitz-like security guy.
Yeah.
Our investigator.
Yep.
It sort of feels like that, too.
Right. So, I don't know. This felt like kind of ho-hum, like been there, done that.
Yeah, but there was some fun shit in there. Like I said, the interactions with Voss and Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
That was fun and interesting to read for me.
Yeah.
I think
totally.
the next two chapters are better than these two chapters, but I still liked these two chapters because it's kind of like you've got to get through this shit to get to the meat. But that doesn't mean this was bad.
No, and that's what I was saying, too, about had this been on TV, like, the visuals of it would have made it not seem as much of a retread, or not retread, but like something you've seen before.
Yeah.
Because it would have looked totally different than something you've seen before.
Yeah. What else? I'm trying to think, is there anything else we need to say about these?
No, I think there's a lot more to talk about in the next two.
Yeah. So are we good? Time to go into our thank yous?
Yeah, I think we're good with these two.
Okay. Thanks to @theJSarge for our theme song. Thanks to @SherrySays for our logo. And then thanks to @BatCat37 and @TESDGroupie for helping us out with the intro. As for our shit, follow us on Twitter @NerdBlitzPod. I'm @TheScoobyDoo. You're
@Fitzman73.
Search Nerd Blitz on YouTube. There's lots of cool shit there. We're on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, HiAltPod.net, and of course, NerdBlitz.com. Is that everything?
Yeah. NerdBlitz.com. It's got all the links to everywhere you need to go and all the people you need to see.
Yes, indeedy do. So, I guess until next time,
bookmark it.
This has been a feature of JJ2E Media and TSDJA Productions.